Good morning. It's Monday morning and I have had an amazing weekend. Started on Friday and I went to a retreat. It was a women's gathering and yin yoga, wise women's gathering and yin yoga retreat run by Brenda Rogers. And I have the honour of being a guest speaker at that event. It was a 3-day retreat. And yeah, it was beautiful being able to present and share some of the information about creating and recoding and all of that jazz. Though for me, that wasn't the highlight. The highlight was the opportunity to sit and be present to women in circle. And it was such an honor to watch women walk in from their busy lives where they've left themselves to the last because of serving, right? We serve, we look after everybody. And watching them slowly melt and slowly move back into themselves and slowly become present to each other and have that moment to pause. And as that happened, watching what unfolded, what came to pass, what revelations happened, what bubbled up, what grief needed to come out, what revelations of reflections on life that happened. And so many of the women, I think there was 12 women there was, and so many women said, I nearly didn't come because of this reason and that reason and blah blah blah, and I'm so glad I did. And so for me it was the same. It was this opportunity to stop and pause and reflect on where I'm at and what's going on in my life. And as all of us know, the last 2 years that hasn't been the case. We haven't been able to have the opportunity to sit in circle or even touch each other or be present to each other. And I know in some parts of the country that's still the case, and I feel for you. We've been through that here in New South Wales, and we've come out the other side, which is so nice. And I just today, from that experience, really wanted to sit and pause, to take that moment to ask you, when was the last time that you sat in circle? Or have you ever sat in circle with women? Have you ever had the opportunity to share your heart with another sister and reflect on life and be vulnerable and transparent and share who you are? And if you haven't had that opportunity, and I would love for you to put in the comments, for those that have or haven't, please put in the comments and reflect, share with us whether you've had that opportunity and what you're even, you may be wondering what I'm even talking about. We had, it's if to finish that thought off, if you haven't you know, in your reflection, if you're sitting there thinking, I don't know if I've got, I just watched some beautiful birds go past in their V shape. That was beautiful. If you're sitting there in reflection and you're thinking, I don't have those type of friends that I can do that with, where I can sit and they'll hold space for me and allow me to be vulnerable, I would like to ask you to reflect on why that is. Why haven't you got those friends? And maybe you do have those friends, but you haven't given yourself the opportunity or invited them or encouraged them to do the same for you, right? Because it's a really powerful moment when women can share with each other and be vulnerable and hold space for each other and be present, because so much can come out of that, so much love and connection and wisdom and grieving. A lot of us women need to grieve. And there was this moment in the course, I think it was near the end, where Brenda said, we were all sitting in circle and just sharing our highlights and our aha moments and all that sort of stuff. And in the middle of the circle was a beautiful embroidered, her mother had embroidered this beautiful square mat or rug, and we had a mother candle on there, her mother candle, which she lit every morning, and just all these little precious things that the women had brought with us. So I had brought some crystals and I bought some oracle cards, and other women had brought some really beautiful precious things for them, and one of them had bought this beautiful silver teapot and tea, and told this story of how she grew up at a farm, and you know, right on I think it was 9:30 and 3:30, morning tea and afternoon tea, and then there was lunch, but morning tea and afternoon tea, and how all the tractors would come in knowing that that's what the time was. And she just told it really beautifully. It was very memorable. And so there was all these little things, right, around, and little candles and all sorts of stuff. And here we were reflecting, and we were sharing, and we were you know, giving and witnessing other women. And Brenda said, and it just hit me, and I'm gonna do my best not to cry here, because Brenda said, you know, we're really blessed because women in our, you know, previously, I am gonna cry. Women previously would have been burnt at the stake for doing what we were doing and having. I'm diverting myself with my cup of tea, and I can hear already some of you commenting in there, don't divert myself. Yeah, women previously in our history would have been burnt at the stake for sitting in circle and having tarot cards and crystals around. And it just hit me what a privilege it is and an honour to have the opportunity that those women held space for us and held strong for us to have that opportunity now. So next month I'm actually holding a women's circle for the Women of Light monthly meetup, to talk about the sacredness of circle, because circle is a sacred geometry symbol. Is one of the simplest, but is very, very powerful. There's magic in circle. And so how do we sit in circle with other women when we're living in such a patriarchal society, where not even patriarchal, just is so in our mind, go, 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 everything's busy, 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 everything's intense, there's no opportunity to stop and reflect. And so sitting in, as Brenda calls it, she does, she's a feminine presence facilitator. I don't think I'm saying that correctly. Feminine presence? Something like that. Facilitator, and oh, that's such a yummy cup of tea. And she talks about womb space and sitting in the womb and reflecting from that space. When you can drop out of your head space, where everything is all your doubts and fears and judgments, and your as someone's talking, you're commenting or preempting what they're saying, or reflecting on what you're going to say back, or how that makes you feel, or whatever, to be actually present to somebody else and to hold space for them from your womb space, from like dropping into and you can do that just with intention, right? Or you can do it by breathing. One of the things that I teach in my Awaken the Lioness course is the 3 breaths. And the second breath is taking a nice deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. That's the first breath, actually. And even just doing that helps you drop into your body. However, the second breath, one of the things that you can do is, as you breathe in through your nose and as you breathe out through your mouth, you're imagining that you're breathing out through the tip of your tailbone. So you're imagining that the breath is going down your spinal cord and out through the tip of your tailbone. And it's a really beautiful way to drop into your body and to be present and to sit in, because often when we're in our head, our energy, our spirit is half in and half out of our body, and we can't function in that way because our memories, our mind is actually in our spiritual, makeup in our auric field. And so being present and being able to drop down into your body by grounding, you can do that through thinking into your feet as well, but it's really, really beautiful and very, very sacred to use the breath. So breathing in through your nose and then out through your mouth. And taking that moment to pause and just to be in your body, because when you're in your body, you can access more of your memory, you can access more of you can articulate and express yourself from deep within, and you're present to other people. So when you are in your womb space, that's a whole different thing. Well, not exactly, but it is doing that and coming into your body and then being present. You can even put your hands on your womb, and putting your hands on your womb and just holding that to give you that space, to give you some sort of intention that that's what you're doing, and breathing into that space. That supports you to be more present to other women and to our men, right? Our men need us to be present for them as well. When we can really hold the space of the strong, empowered female, our men can become or remember their strength as a strong, empowered man. And it's a really beautiful thing to witness. If we can hold space for our men, they're dying for it. They want us to remember who we are, so that they can remember who they are. And one of the things about womb space is the womb can have its own grief. There can be a lot of grief within our womb, and I encourage or invite you to hold space for that. Give yourself a bit of time. Set it aside in your day. Get into your diary and block it out. My womb space. And block it out so that you can sit there and breathe. Breathe into your womb and hear what she's got to tell you, what your uterus has got to tell you. And it depends really on where you're at in the cycle of being a woman. I would say a lot of women that are watching this are in their mother stage, or near the end of their mother stage, moving into what Brenda told us. There's a cycle, and so Magna. I am in the Magna stage, just started, which is very exciting. And so I remember when I sat with my womb, and it was, and I've done that a couple of times as a woman. Excuse me. And obviously there's some more to sit with, because I've got some stuff coming up in my throat chakra. Watching my womb at various stages. I've actually lost a baby, and I had a 15 centimeter fibroid at one stage, and sitting with my womb in both of those times, and letting her grieve. And if I hadn't sat with my womb when with the 15 centimeter fibroid, I actually wouldn't be here, because she shared with me. I had this moment where I'm like, oh, maybe I need to have my uterus removed, because that's what they wanted to do. And I let go. I let go of trying to control the situation, which is what I was doing. And I said goodbye, and honoured, had a bit of a cry for all the things that she had given me already. And I let go. And because of that, I'm still here. If I hadn't have done that process, I could have quite easily died at home, because I was resisting going to the hospital and having them remove my uterus. And because of that process, they didn't have to remove my uterus. I had 3 days. I'd had 2 weeks with pain at home, refusing to go and visit, because they were going to cut me with a knife. And when I let go and let, as they say, let go and let God, and said goodbye to my uterus, then I had 3 days without any pain whatsoever, and so because of that I was able to keep my uterus and there's no scars. I don't have nothing. No one cut me with a knife, right? And there's been other times that I've sat with my uterus. I remember when my uterus was sharing that, are you going to have another child, because we're just about to change into the next phase. Are you going to, we're moving, we're shifting, we're growing, we're evolving, and this is your last chance, babe. And I remember that moment of it was, over a couple of months of hearing this going through, and then finally saying, yeah, no, I'm okay, I'm good, I'm not having any more children. And there was a grief of, I think that with every cycle, with every new beginning or new stage, there's a grief of the old one that's left, right? And so I personally believe that was a spiritual start of menopause. It happened quite a long time ago, or perimenopause, maybe but it was actually that new stage of becoming an elder, moving into that next growth of being a woman. And a lot of women can miss that because it was so subtle. And it was my womb talking to me, and there was no physical experience. I only just recently have stopped my moon cycle, so there was no, and actually I haven't, like, it's still, I'm having my moon cycle coming every so often as well, but there was no physical evidence that that's what I was going to go through. And so the womb has knowledge, and as women, if we can just sit with that knowledge and allow that knowledge to come out and be expressed, and allow it, and allow the grief of any challenges and traumas and abuse and losses, and the even not feeling like each stage has been celebrated the way it could have been, is a grief, is a loss, right? And so that's my Monday morning pause for you today, is to tune into your womb and to be present, and allow your womb to talk to you and share with you, and it's got a lot to say. There was a woman at the retreat that said to another woman, just I heard it on the edge, and it's like, wow, and it just reminded me of this story I've just been sharing with you. She said the womb space has got lots to say, right? And as women of light, as women of light, it is really important for us to let go of that grief and that loss, and to let the tears out, and let the womb speak, and let the womb share its story, so that you can get that stuff out of the cells and raise your vibration and shift the dynamics of the planet. Because when all of us clear that stuff and let it out, it changes the cellular structure of our whole system, especially in the womb, right? And our frequency changes, And as our frequency changes, so does the frequency of the planet, so does the frequency of all the people around us, so does the frequency. It's a ripple effect. Ladies, we're needed at the moment for us to stay in tune with ourselves, to drop into our feminine, drop into our womb, drop into that lioness that we are, and do the work. It's important, not just for ourselves, but it's important for the planet. It's important for our men. Our men need us to be the strong women that we are, the empowered women, so that we can hold space, because we're really good at that. We are the center of community, and we need to step up. It's time. So that's my pause for you. I hope you got some value out of that, and an opportunity to reflect on who you are and where you're at and what you're doing, and whether you're reflecting and pausing, and whether you're sitting in circle with other women, or even just taking the opportunity to look into another woman's eyes and pause and reflect and be present and witness her talking and sharing without anything going on in your mind, just sitting in your own space and dropping into your womb and being present and just listening, acknowledging and witnessing somebody else sharing their story. What a beautiful way to start the week. I would love, if you're watching the replay, put #replay, and I'd love to get some thoughts or shares in the comments. If you're watching on another channel, please hit subscribe if you're on YouTube, and the bell so that you get notifications when we put things in. If you're watching on spiritual Elizabeth Elenor, Spiritual Warrior, then and you're a man, we love you. Us women love you, and we know that you love us, and we're doing our best to hold space for you to step up. Take care, everyone. Enjoy your week, and tune in on Wednesday for Wednesday Wisdom. We'll speak soon.